When I was younger, much younger, there were two things I figured I might skip. Marriage, who needed that silly little piece of paper, and motherhood. After all, these were the days of the Vietnam War. Recycling was considered a joke, and feminists, we were thought of as nothing more than bra-burning wackos. Then one day I met the brightest, kindest, most gentle man. And yes, he was dreamy handsome. I played hard to get for a good long while. We lived in sin, as it was called in the Dark Ages. We even bought a house. My dad was not pleased. Finally, in July of 1977, in the orchard in front of our house that we had lovingly dubbed the Little Dump on the Prairie, we were married. Life was really good, and I found myself rethinking motherhood. 4 years later, we welcomed our first child into our hearts. And after so many years in my career, I was pleased to discover that motherhood was such a good fit. Her brother and sister followed in short order, and we found ourselves happily outnumbered by a litter of remarkable little souls. I was exhausted, but I was thoroughly content. Okay, fast forward through the endless snotty noses, our chickenpox epidemic of '88, record-breaking minivan miles, music practice, basketball tournaments, dead hamsters, lost homework, missed curfews, rolled cars, broken hearts. And our kids all grew up to be the adults we hope to give the planet. To the letter, bear with me, they are a compassionate, generous, hardworking, and loving bunch. Now, 2013 was a banner year for our family. I published my first novel at 61. Who knew? My husband was happily retired and building us a beautiful wooden boat. We celebrated our 36th wedding anniversary. And in June, our family gathered for a week of preparation that culminated in our oldest daughter's marriage to a simply wonderful man we all adore. Watching their ceremony, I was filled with optimism, knowing they were choosing to marry based on their love, on maturity, and a resolve to make the ultimate commitment to another living soul. I also couldn't help but appreciate the rights and privileges our culture would grant them as a married couple. It was a very good day. All of this should be enough goodness for 1 year, but wait, there's more. Early one morning, a few weeks after our daughter's wedding, my husband and I sat on our couch. The television was turned to CNN. Leaning into each other, we were full of anticipation. Really, we were antsy, though surprisingly quiet, as we waited for an answer to a question that had haunted us for many years. Would 2 of our precious children continue to be denied the same rights and privileges their big sister and her new husband now enjoyed? I have to be honest, it's miserable to have your precious children treated like second-class citizens, to be openly and actively judged and discriminated against simply because of whom they love. And here's a tidbit I'm convinced of after 32 years of motherhood. Children don't choose this path. Think about it. Why would anyone choose a way in the world that can include discrimination, malice, fear, possibly bodily harm, and yes, even death? Back to that June morning. The news broke. My husband and I were absolutely stunned when the Supreme Court struck down DOMA and tossed out California's Prop 8. Yes. It was a monumental moment, one I knew I was sharing with mothers all across the nation. We cried from joy, we cried from relief, and then I cried all over again when I considered the countless people these decisions would directly impact by affording them the same civil liberties the rest of us consider our birthright. Fair and equal treatment. Isn't that what every mother wants for her children? A couple couple of years ago, our son and his dear partner of many years pledged their love to one another in a truly heartwarming ceremony, a ceremony that reflected the essence of pure love. And forevermore, that will be the day our family celebrates their lifelong commitment. But near the end of last year, these two exceptional men decided there were other benefits to having a marriage license. And because they now had the choice, they went across the border to Washington and were legally married. 2013, it was a very good year. Now, marriage isn't for everyone, and I'm the first to respect an individual's choice. But here's the kicker that makes this mom smile. Someday, marriage will be a choice everyone has the right to make. Thank you.